In this episode of Wanderlust, we meet up with landscape photographers Stephanie and Eric Lowenbach. We get up before sunrise to photograph an arch, explore a ghost town, sleep in an abandoned mine, and of course, brave the outhouse. We're Chelsea and Tony Northrup, professional photographers and YouTubers who travel the world in pursuit of beautiful sights, interesting people, and stunning photos. Not only will we be traveling the world, but we'll be doing it with you, our viewers. Join us on an adventure we call Wanderlust.
We decided that Mobius Arch would be the best feature, so we went early the night before to kind of scope out a place to shoot from. We looked to see where sunrise was going to be and where the light was going to hit, and because the light that you want at sunrise is so fleeting, having been there the night before was really a great way to make sure that we were ready.
It's 5 a.m. and we're driving the Yukon as fast as we can up the side of the mountain to get to the viewpoint for the sun rises, and the sky's already lighter than we hoped.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
People think landscape photography is like leisurely and peaceful, but it's not, man. The sun is going to be pretty for like a good 2 to 3 minutes sometimes. You got to make sure you're there on time, and then you got 14 hours to go until the sun is nice again.
When you get up for landscapes, either at sunrise or sunset, you can do all this planning and find the spot and everything, but then you literally have like 5 to 10 minutes of good light, but it's not always. Sometimes like 1 minute to the next, the light will just completely and drastically change. So in this very short period of time, and that you don't even know how short or long it will be, you're just scrambling to find the best shot and then double checking to make sure you haven't ruined the settings or like missed the focus. It can actually be really stressful during that short period of time when you just really want to get the shot.
The Mobius Arch is beautiful. We hiked out to kind of scout for pictures, and then the next morning we went out for the sunrise and the mountains were lit up, and then the sun came up over the mountains and just lit up the whole landscape, and it was breathtaking. It was this kind of quiet that I'd never heard before, and the landscape was glowing and we were the only people out there, and it actually brought a tear to my eye. It was just so beautiful and peaceful, and I hope I got pictures that show how peaceful and beautiful it is.
Everything just got golden.
So I see the sun is coming up behind me, and I'm trying to find a good foreground subject because it's going to peek out through over the mountains, and it'll make this nice starburst if I use a high f-stop. These super light carbon fiber travel tripods always seem like a great idea when you're packing for your trip and carrying stuff around, but even for landscape photography, even with a delayed shutter, like it's windy today, and then it shakes the camera around, and I'm like having to hold the camera down like this to try to keep it steady.
This is a Contigo coffee mag, which I use for landscape photography. It's perfect because it's basically unspillable. If you need to take a sip of coffee, you have to press the button, otherwise it's not going to spill. So you can just throw it in your backpack, it won't get your gear all wet.
Once the morning's golden light was gone, we all headed off for our next important stop, breakfast.
The logo is the same that we were just shooting with. I got just way too much food. Do a flyby. It's a trying stuff on montage. Oh, you're not really good at the trying things on montages.
Yeah, he's really proud.
Have you not seen Pretty Woman?
This one is just safe, you know?
No.
Safe and sexy. We have not 1 inch left in the trunk.
Yeah, actually, that's worthy of a shot.
After Alabama Hills, we went to the ghost town of Keeler. In Keeler's case, it became a ghost town because the city of Los Angeles took all the water from the area. There was no more water for people. So people just drifted away. They left their homes just as they were. And so you can walk around Keeler and see 9/10 of the homes are just completely empty. And then there's some stalwart people just hanging on for whatever reason. So we walked around and took some shots. They have an abandoned swimming pool and a train station. Once again, because we were traveling, we weren't able to be there at the most perfect light, but we could get some snapshots and just experience the town a little bit, and it was kind of fun. We found out about Cerro Gordo by just doing a little research on the internet and trying to find out along the route what would be good. The thing about Cerro Gordo is the road there is a little bit difficult, and we like that because even though it was difficult for us to get there, it's also difficult for other people to get there.
It's not even a road, and it's crumbling, and there's like a cliff, and Eric's a good driver, but I was still scared. Actually, Eric was balls to the wall. He was going like 40 around these curves.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? Like, turn around? But that's worse than this, right?
We took a trip pretty recently that involved a very harrowing off-road drive. Cerro Gordo seemed like nothing to me, you know? It was like, oh, you know, this is a great road.
Nobody else was scared. I guess I'm a chicken, but it made the experience more fun for sure. Because there was a payoff. You had this kind of scary road, and you get to the ghost town, and it's all a part of the experience.
In the Jeep. Wow, this is a beautiful road. I've never seen a road.
When we got there, we pretty much had the place to ourselves. It wasn't full of tourists. So we're looking for things off the beaten path like that aren't, you know, so common. Cerro Gordo certainly fit the bill.
Cerro Gordo was so cool. It's a ghost town. It's a real ghost town. People still don't really go there. It's not a tourist trap or anything.
Like the only thing near Cerro Gordo is like another ghost town that has like has a couple of operating places, like this post office that's open like literally 2 hours a day, like 2 to 4 p.m. I think the post office is open. So it's this really remote location on this mountain, and you just see relics from literally 100 years ago when the place was populated by a couple thousand people working this place, literally pulling lead out of the side of a hill and then like doing chemical stuff to it to pull out like gold and silver and stuff that has value.
It has a wet canvas cover over it. And then you got your pure mercury here, pure gold and silver there.
So we see our accommodations, and it was a bunkhouse. It was charming and cozy, but spooky and strange.
There was the caretaker, Robert, who was just a bit of a character and has lived up there for 19 years.
And didn't say king, queen, or whatever, and didn't have numbers.
Wow. I've never seen those before.
Well, that's why it's a museum. It's for real.
Seemed really excited to give us a tour and tell us all about mining and carburetors.
Where the cable went through, on the very edge of the lumber. And there's my house way down there with 3 fireplaces.
And Robert is a super cool guy. He's like a living encyclopedia of this mining, and it's clear that he's keeping it in this arrested decay state is so important that he's dedicated his life to it. I really appreciate it. He's doing something for history, and he's working so hard to keep this place as it is.
So Tony goes out on a hike with Justin and Eric, and I think they're all responsible adults, but then they come back without Tony. And I was like, what are you doing leaving Tony alone? Because they don't realize Tony he hurts himself all the time.
Because I kept seeing something that I thought was cool, like another 100 feet up the hill, so I'd climb another 100 feet and check it out, but then I could see something else cool. And so it was like this carrot leading a donkey up the side of this mountain until I was at 8,000 feet, way above even Cerro Gordo. And I was sitting at the edge of this steep cliff that went down into a huge pit that must have been like a collapsed mine shaft or something. It was not a great place to be hanging out.
So sure enough, we're all sitting in our bunkhouse and we just hear this booming, this almost like a bomb is being dropped. It's like,
the whole mountain shakes and it's like, "Rah!" and I don't poop myself, but I was very close. and I look over and there's like an F-18, and it's like right there. It can't be more than like 150 feet away. It's really close.
I get a text from Tony. It just says like, I just shit my pants or something.
It was eye level with me. We're at the same height. It's this guy. He's just hot dogging. He's just like carving through the valley, and it just almost scares the shit out of me. And it's my worst nightmare because it would have been such a cool picture, but I'm too shaken to get my camera in place and the guy's going too fast, so he's out by the time I have my Pentax ready.
Tony almost died. Just added to it.
But I couldn't move for like a good 20 minutes because I was still shaking and I was too nervous where I was. If I'd been standing, I definitely would have just fallen in the pit, and that would have been the end of it.
It's good to put something in the foreground of your landscape shots, adds depth, adds visual interest, especially if it can break the line of the horizon. So that's what I'm going to do with this foreground rock here. But you can't focus on something in the foreground and the background. You can't just turn on all your focusing points. So you got to focus in between. I try to focus 1/3 of the way between the foreground and the background, and then just use a high f-stop number. And nothing's going to be completely perfectly sharp. It's not ideal, but it's still better than having a boring landscape photo.
We just weren't blessed with good clouds, and for landscapes you need like light and clouds, and that's what's going to make the difference. So we did get some really cool interior portraits. We had everybody kind of take turns in this cool little bar room with old-timey cards, and we tried on hats and got some very cool rustic portraits.
Whenever I'm shooting, I try to look for the best light. You can have the most exciting subject, and if it's lit poorly, it's not gonna look great. So I'll find good light and a good background and then put a subject in it. So this area had perfect light and is perfectly staged. So I had Stephanie and Eric sit down here, put on a hat, and be my models. Another thing you want to look for are elements of storytelling. So I have the bottles and the cards, but I also made sure to get this wanted poster here just to give a whole story and show the whole scene. I noticed the cross lighting from the two windows was providing some really interesting lighting, so I had Eric put on a hat and move his chair into the light to get a dramatic picture.
At Cerro Gordo, unfortunately, the light wasn't perfect. It rained that night.
I'm worried about the road washing out because it's already really narrow, and the owner here, Robert, said that any amount of rain can wash it out, so we have to make sure that we can drive home. That's a concern.
This rain totally ruined all of our golden hour shooting plan, so I set up a time lapse so we could at least watch the storm roll in. I'm taking a shot every 1 second, and you need 30 frames per second the way we shoot video. Therefore, every 1 minute that I stand out here in the rain is 2 seconds of footage, and I definitely need to show 6 seconds of footage, but then you need like an extra 2 seconds lead in and out for things like transitions, crossfade. So I need at least 10 seconds, which means I need to be out here for at least 5 minutes holding this umbrella to keep the lens dry. We're trying to build a fire in the rain.
Yep, this newspaper's not gonna work anymore.
It looks like we were wildly successful, though.
Yeah. Stephanie, how'd you make your hot dog roaster?
Oh, I improvised. I deconstructed a fly swatter, and it seems to be working pretty well.
I bring a brand new fly swatter.
What happened? Oh, sparks.
This is the most dramatic dinner. We ate hot dogs on the fire, and Eric hates microwaves because there was one there, but he like refused. He was like dissing the microwave.
Don't even fucking plug in the microwave. We don't want that shit here.
It's all right.
Here, I'm putting a bun back. I'm not being the bun greeter.
Also,
It's
the bun
okay,
with you.
guys.
Okay.
I really don't
Yeah,
mind.
because I
like,
could
eating
double. I
straight
could
up.
cut this in half and then double it up in the
Sound
bun.
like a bit of a wiener expert.
The hot dogs were so good. I didn't expect that. They were really good.
My favorite part was the bunkhouse that we stayed in. It was creepy and dilapidated and somehow at the same time cozy and inviting.
I wouldn't want to do that all the time, but it was fun. Justin brought hand sanitizer, thankfully, and we didn't shower, and we pooped in a hole.
Oh my God.
I didn't think the outhouses were too bad, but I forced myself just to keep anything nasty inside of me for another day.
They were pretty far too from where we were sleeping, so if you had to use the restroom in the middle of the night, it wasn't a lot of fun. It was pretty cold out.
There was one outhouse that was particularly precarious where the floor kind of sloped in. I mean, that was where you really felt like you were gonna fall through the floor, and so I kind of avoided that one.
It was more just an experience of being someplace new and completely different. I don't think any of us on the trip had ever spent the night in any place like that and seen things that we saw.
In our next episode of Wanderlust, Tony braves an outhouse. We visit the monument at Manzanar photographed by Ansel Adams. Stephanie gets the best shot with her phone. Tony makes burritos, and we learn what tufa is and then take pictures of it. Love travel and photography? Subscribe to our channel to see more of Wanderlust and other photography tutorials. You can also check out our book, Stunning Digital Photography, if you want more in-depth tutorials.
Damn.
Whoa.
Now walk on it.